So about a year ago, I said, actually, about a year ago, I made the decision to make the decision, right? And then I said, this is what I want to do. Now, I wanted to lose weight. I was about 260 pounds. I wanted to go to 200 pounds. I'm not there yet. Okay, I'll be honest, and it's only my fault. But I had three goals. I wanted to go to 200 pounds. I wanted to do 10 pull-ups, and I wanted to run 3 miles. Okay, anybody here run? Okay, we got a couple people. Anybody here never run? Okay, that's me. I never ran. I mean, never. I mean, like as a kid, I would run from one house to another, and that's about as far as I could get, right? So I decided that these were my 3 goals, and this is what I decided to do. I started to go out and try to find someone to help me with these goals. Now, you can tell the kind of person I am, right? You met my mentor. Okay, so I had to find that guy who's a trainer, okay? Now, the interesting thing was I put a post on Facebook, and the Facebook post was pretty much, hey, look, I'm looking for somebody to train me, and you know that I have lots and lots of friends on Facebook. Everybody's giving me all their people. One of our students actually introduced me to someone, and I'm like, and of course I'm totally skeptical because I want to be, you know, my mentor's Greg Reed, right? So I want to find a guy who's like this. Now, the really weird part was I interviewed him. I interviewed 2 other people. I interviewed him, and he came to me, and he was excited about getting the job, but he didn't tell me who he was. It took about, 2 months for me to dig out of him. Holy cow, I met the trainer who's exactly what I want. Now, here's the really cool part, right? Then he tells me he wants to write a book. I'm like, I actually started writing a book. I'm like, that's cool. He tells me he wants to be a speaker. And I was like, and I said, you know what? We got this awesome event. So I'm going to go back for a second. I'm going to tell you that I ran not only 3 miles, but I ran 5 miles nonstop. First time I ran, I couldn't go 5 houses. I couldn't go 5 houses. Now I've done this. Now I'm not at my other 2 goals I haven't reached yet, but I'm telling you right now that when I bring up this guest, he's going to talk to you about how I'm going to do it. All right. So I want you guys to put a big hand together for my trainer, my friend Gordon Burdecki. You talk about Jack. Look at this guy. Man.
How you guys doing today? Now, you guys ate a big lunch? You're a little full? You feel a little lethargic right now? No? So, can you guys participate full on? Can everybody turn your microphone on? Oh, shit. All right. Do that one more time. All right. You guys ate your lunch, you're a little tired, you're a little lethargic. You guys are willing to participate full on, right? Yeah. All right. I'm going to get you guys to get up. Everybody up. We're just going to stretch out. Nobody's going to get hurt in here. If you can't get up, you can tap your feet or whatever. All right, we're going to lean to our left, right? I want to hear the noise. Lean to your right. And lean back. And then get that last stretch in. We're going to get our fingers, we'll put them together, we're going to come up and snap your fingers. There you go. All right, you guys can sit down now. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Is that what you do to Larry?
Yeah, well, no. Now, Larry gets stretched out and everything else. So, I come from a pretty big family. I'm one of 6. I'm one of 6. I got my sister, Georgine. She's the oldest. I got my brother, actually his nickname. My sister named him that because she couldn't pronounce his name when he was younger. His name's Edward. I got my brother, Jack. And then there's my brother, David. And then there's me. And then there's my little brother, Eric. We call him, well, I don't call him it. My dad called him the caboose. He calls himself E-Rock, whatever that means. So, my oldest brother, Jack, one of my older brothers, Jack, had a weight set when I was younger. And he was working out, and I decided I wanted to work out too because when I was younger, I used to watch The Incredible Hulk and like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and you guys know who they are, right? So I started like hitting the weights and try to bench. And years later, as my journey went on, I slowly become the person I am today. But remember that time there was an event that happened in our life, and at the time my mom wasn't feeling very well. She had open heart surgery. And one day, me and my brother Eric were coming home from being out at a fast food joint, and we're like two brothers. We're like wrestling each other, we're fighting over cheeseburgers, whatever. My friend drops us off, and we see all these cars out front of the house. And we walk in, and we're like, "What's going on? What happened to Mom?" And my cousin comes right up to me and says, "Brother died." It wasn't my mom, it was my brother. Passed away. And he died from a drug overdose. And that day was one of the hardest days. I got down on my knees and cried. But it was the choices he made and the habits that he created up to that point that took his life. And that's what I'm talking about today, how to take those bad habits and get rid of them and start new ones. So let's lighten up the mood a little bit. You guys talk about money all day long, right? And I picked this picture out, and lo and behold, I didn't realize it looked a little bit like Phil. Do you have those skis and out of your house, Phil? Do you like sliding out money tree?
You're gonna pay.
So everybody wants to be wealthy, right? Why do you want to be wealthy? Right? There's needs and there's wants. We want to be wealthy because we want to do the things we want to do when we want to do them and get the things we want whenever we want to get them. I'm sure you agree with that, right? Yes. And you want those things not because you just want those things, you want to be a happier version of yourself. Money doesn't buy you happiness. It doesn't. Doesn't buy you fulfillment. Being healthy is the gateway there. You want to be healthy. You can't enjoy those things without your health. Your health, you don't have anything. And that's what I'm here today to talk about, and how to create habits, get rid of the bad ones, and start new ones. So what I did was I went back and I said, well, let me think here. Let me fast forward. Let me fast forward. And what are two of the biggest regrets that dying have? And it's not because they didn't earn enough money or they ended up actually saying they worked too hard. What it was, they wish that they had let themselves be happier. And lo and behold, what I found out is that they stayed stuck in old patterns and habits. Now, Greg Reed talked a lot about that earlier. But the habits are the cornerstone of it. They're the building blocks of how you get to be the version that you want to be of yourself. Right? You stay so comfortable, you're familiar with it, you overflow emotions, and it leaks over to your physical lives. And that becomes part of who you are, and you don't want to be that anymore, right? And I wish I took better care of myself. And I said it earlier, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything, right? So the benefits of exercise. What are some of the benefits of exercise? We got muscle, right? We talk about muscle. Everybody wants to build muscle. I think a stronger version of anybody is better because then you're more sturdy, you're stronger. I have a lot of older clients that I train. What I really notice is one of the first things the women say is I can carry my groceries to the car myself and I don't need somebody to help me. And how nice is that, right? And bone mass density, increased bone mass density. Not enough people talk about that. A lot of people I know that get older. I had my dad's girlfriend at the time had fell and broke her hip, and because and she died because of it. And it's because her bone mass density wasn't there. Now she was a lot older, but still, if they built that up, that over time, that you can prevent those type of things and live a more your longevity of life. All right, so we're looking at this. Only 23% of adults get enough exercise. 23%. Less than 5% of adults participate in 30 minutes of daily activity. At least 48% of U.S. adults have some form of cardiovascular disease. And if you read the last line, it's crazy. An estimated 80% of cardiovascular disease, including heart disease and stroke, are preventable. However, cardiovascular disease remains the #1 killer and the most expensive disease, costing nearly $1 billion a day. $1 billion a day. And there's a cute little picture I put up of this guy. In a clinical study, regular exercise is as effective as antidepressants in reducing symptoms of mild to moderate depression. Now, I'm not saying get rid of your medication if you're taking it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it helps out. And you could always add it to, say, if you are taking medication, people out there. I'm not saying that. But now this is pretty funny. I found this by accident. It's not the diabetes, heart disease, and obesity that runs in our family. It's that no one runs in your family. More than 34 million Americans have diabetes, and about 1 out of 10, and approximately 90 to 95% of them have type 2 diabetes. Now, if you don't know what type 2 diabetes is, like you're not producing the insulin, right? And what happens over time is it gets worse and worse and worse. But you can prevent it by exercise and eating right. You can not cure it, but you can definitely not say get rid of it, but hold it at bay and reverse it. You can reverse the process of diabetes. And that's through proper exercise and eating right. Now, we're going to have a little fun today, okay? Remember I said to participate? You guys are you're willing to participate? All right, everybody get up for me, all right? Everybody up again. So this buzzer is what I'm going to call a cue. You know what, okay? And you're going to hear it and hear it. Ready? And when I say what the next thing to do, you just do that. I'll raise my hand. I'll tell you to stop, all right? All right, I want everybody to jog in place. Just jog in place. All right. All right, all right. All right, stop. I want everybody to pretend like they're picking their nose. Don't actually touch your nose. That's disgusting. Right there. Okay, and stop. And the last thing I want you to do is everybody pretend like they're sleeping. Okay, now we're going to do it one more time, right? This time. Now everybody, jog. You're already ahead of it. All right, and stop. Now everybody to clap their hands. Louder. Stop. Now everybody to laugh, belly laugh. Ha 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 ha. All right, you guys can stop. All right, thank you guys. Now everybody can sit down. Sit down. Thank you so much. Now that was fun, a little silly, and there's a reason why I did that. Yeah. So we got what we call it a habit loop. It's called a cue, the trigger that signals us to start a routine. Whenever you start a routine, there's a cue. And then you get the response. That's the action part. And that's what Gregory was talking about, taking action. The laws of attraction, there's action in it, and that's the action part. Now, that can go good or bad. A habit itself doesn't know that. A habit just is implanted in who we are as we do things over and over again. And the last thing is reward, the positive feedback you eventually crave. And that's what happens, you release dopamine. And dopamine is that feel-good hormone that you feel. So bad habits do that really quickly. Good habits take a little longer to do that. So that's why we don't do it good habits immediately. We kind of take that on. Like people drink, they get an increase of dopamine, and then all of a sudden they feel that, and then they do it again, do it again. That's how a bad habit's formed. And that's how, like my brother, when he started doing stuff, the same thing happened to him. So let's look at it in real life. A cue. The alarm goes off in the morning. This is all of us, right? And like I've done the same thing, and then this happens. A bad habit. Everybody wants to hit the snooze button, okay? Bad habit. That's the action. Then what happens is you oversleep. It's a reward because it feels good. You're like, oh, I'm going back to sleep. What happens next? You're late for work. This is called a habit stack, by the way. So what happens is you're stacking bad habit on bad habit on bad habit. You get hungry, and then you reach for something that's pleasurable. Sugar increases dopamine quickly, and that's why people get addicted to sugar. All right, so what we want to do is take our old habits and replace them with new habits. And how do we do that? You got your growth mindset, and then you got your fixed mindset. You got to get that out of the way first. You got to make a conscious choice that you want to take that and then turn it into something good, right? So habits form in the brain. We got the prefrontal cortex. That's where you take all the information in the beginning. That's when you're learning something. And then when you take that in, what happens over time, through repetition, it gets transferred to the striatum. And the striatum is a part of the brain that holds that habit. And the neural pathways, the neural network in your brain is now wired that way. So that's how bad habits are created, and good habits. So what we want to do is we want to flip that around. We want to take your cue now. Instead of just having the cue and hitting the snooze button, we're going to do something. We're going to get up. We're going to count backwards, 3, 2, 1, or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mel Robbins wrote a really good book about that. If you guys haven't read it, really good book, right? So if 5, 4, get up, stretch. That's the cue, is the alarm. The response is I stretched. The reward is stretching feels good, right? Don't you think so? Like when you stretch in the morning, it feels great. The next one is exercise. Now, 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking, 5 minutes a day in the morning. That'll get you moving. You can stretch. You can do anything you want to do. You don't have, it doesn't have to be anything special, just 5 minutes of it. And then you got the cue is you're hungry now. Now you have time to eat a healthy meal because you aren't rushing around and floundering. And then the response is that you eat the healthy meal. And the reward is the healthy meal feels good because you ate healthy. Now you don't feel like all bogged down and tired. And then the last thing is you feel dirty and your teeth are dirty. So you take a shower, that's the action. And the reward is that you feel clean and everything feels clean. And what happens next, guys? Your work on time, you're full of positive energy, you're a happier version of yourself, your customer service is great, you close the deal that you wanted to close, and you have a happy customer. That's the end right there. So we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. It's said by Will Durant. And I want to say today, guys, that what I want to do is reach out to you guys and ask you if you have any habits that you want to create or want to get rid of. So when you want to create a new habit, get rid of a new habit, start it, whatever it is. Do you have a habit that you want to replace?
Most desserts.
You want to cut back? How about you? You guys get a ticket. Who raise their hand? Who wants to change their habit? All right. Anybody have a microphone?
Hello.
Whoa.
Whoa. I want to start being more active. I do have heart disease, and my doctor says that I should be out doing more exercising, but sitting in my chair is just really comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, and
Well,
so
That's the reward, right?
yeah, so I want to break a habit of just finding myself being comfortable in my chair, watching my computer, reading a book, or doing whatever, and actually get outside and do something a little bit more physical.
Okay, that's a great habit. And if you want to, you can reach out to me on my website, and I'll give you, the website right here is garagefitnesspa@gmail.com, or you can reach out and go to my cell phone number and just text me. And then also, I'm coming out with a new book called Unleash the Ultimate You, Change Your Mindset, Change Your Body. But I want to hear all your habits. I want to hear you guys tell me about them. Like, write in, tell me. I want to hear them, and I'll give you feedback. I'll answer every one of them. And then we're going to break through those barriers together, okay, guys? I think we can do that together, can't we? Do you guys agree on that? Yeah. All right. Thank you guys very much. My name is Gordon Radecki. And,
So, Gordon, stay up here, man. I got to chat with you. Was that good stuff or what? Is Gordon okay? So, Gordon, I want to ask you a question.
go for it.
Do you work out?
Yeah, a little bit.
Sometimes every now
Sometimes,
and
yeah.
then. I mean, I pretend that I work out sometimes, but mostly it's just genetics for me. But Gordon, this was fantastic. This was your first ever speech you gave, right?
Yes.
First time ever. Not bad for your first time, right?
Yeah.
Pretty good. So, Gordon, I mean, look, you came in here, and I've been working here for about a year and a half. Jamie works here, Paul works here. But you probably have the hardest job out of all of us because you have to make Larry sexy.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you do it, but what I want to know is, what's your story? How did you get started in the fitness world? Where did it all begin for you?
Where did it all begin? Sorry.
Face those guys. Don't tell me, tell them.
Well, you were talking to me.
You got it.
Where did it all begin? Like I said earlier, that it began with my brother getting the weight set, and then I started from there. What I did eventually, as I got older, I wanted to really be in the fitness industry. And I used to work at this place. I'm not going to say where it was. And my friend told me about a gym down the road. And I went there every day to get the job. And the guy tells me, he's like, what makes you special? I'm like, I don't like working out. So he's like, I was like, well, I'm going to come back tomorrow. So much like you did, I kept going back. And then one day he's like, all right, you got the job. I'll give you $1 extra hour. You come 2 hours earlier. And then from there, I started working at a health facility. Over time, I decided to leave there, went to another gym, worked there for 10 years. And then what happened is they sold the business to another gym and got I bought a house at the time. I bought a house. I had a child that I was raising on my own and with co-parenting. And what happened was I got paid, I was getting paid like a third of what I was getting paid before with the new job when I transferred the business. And I'm like, I got to do something.
Yeah.
So 7 years ago, I decided to open my own business. And from there, I started Garage Fitness. And that's where I'm at today.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
it, man.
yeah.
That's great stuff.
Yeah,
Gordon,
yeah.
this is excellent, man.
Thanks, man.
Awesome
Yeah,
stuff.
thanks.
You got it. Don't
Thank
steal
you.
my